Yo, what's up, Blackish fam? It's your boy B. We're continuing to do intelligent, intellectual breakdowns with some of the thought leaders in hip hop, like Black Thought, Royce the 5'9", Kendrick Lamar, Nas, Eminem, Kanye, right? But we've been going. This is probably the fourth or fifth Black Thought song that we've done in a row. The thing that stood out about this one is it's called Fentanyl. For those that don't know what fentanyl is, it's a synthetic opioid that's typically used to treat patients with chronic or severe pain, especially after surgery. It's extremely addictive, but the problem, and I think what a lot of people need to know about fentanyl, is that a lot of there's not an exact science to making it, right? And 42% of all pills tested had at least 2 milligrams of fentanyl, which is considered a deadly dose. So, man, I tell these kids out here, bro, stick to the weed, bro, because you OD on weed and you just might fuck around and have a good ass night, right? But you OD on some fentanyl or mix it with other things, and that's why you're hearing about these deaths, right? Deaths of people in the music industry and artists, and I wanted to take a moment to just highlight. If you don't know anything about fentanyl, do your research before you try a drug like that, because all it takes is one time, and you can fuck around and find out, right, and be taken off this world. Without further ado, let's get right into Black Thought, Fentanyl. I thought I'd go over this. Obviously, this channel, Blackish University, if you're a person of color, I'm sure you know someone that's possibly been affected by addiction. I know, with me, I had to deal with my own father was shooting up and selling drugs, and I had to deal with that and deal with him not being in my life. But it's not something that's specific to me, right? Most inner city youth, the father is removed from the home for multiple reasons. But one of many that you hear consistently come up is drug abuse, drug addiction, as well as drug sales. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Remember, don't do drugs unless it's weed. Right at you.
Let's go. Real drugs do real things. Go to extremes, crash regimes, and kill kings. In the last reprieve, he still sings how the task that the master needs reveals wings. And though he has to bleed, it still brings him heaven and hell.
Man, there's nothing like real hip hop, right? People have changed what real hip hop means, just like they changed what a freestyle means, right? Nowadays, cats would be like, "Yo, let me kick a freestyle," and they pull out their phone and they got it all scripted there. It's like, boy, you better get out of here with that shit. Ask someone like Black Thought to kick a freestyle. Let's see what he does. I bet you he just goes right into it. Yo, coming off the dome, right? And he just gets right into it. Now, if it's a freestyle, you should be able to throw words, right? Or they should be able to play around with things in their environment and incorporate that into their flow. Come on now. Let's talk about what he's talking about, right? He says real drugs do real things, go to extremes. He says crash regimes and kill kings. Damn, that's deep. But he says in the last reprieve, he still sings. That means like if you're talking about the last reprieve, you're normally talking about reprieve is to delay punishment, right? You think of a prisoner or to give someone, it's to prevent them from being destroyed or sentenced to death. But he's saying like, he still sings, right? How the task that the master needs reveals wings. And though he has to bleed, it still brings him heaven and hell. Man, this Black Thought always takes you to another place. Let's run it back and let it ride for a bit.
And though he has to bleed, it still brings him heaven and hell. Better believe the truth stings. Tying his arm off with violent strings, his eyes and dreams perverted as the siren screams eternal.
It sounds like he's describing someone going into that they're getting high, right? He said tying his arm off with violin strings. When you tie your arm off, it's normally with a rubber band or so. You're trying to find a good vein, right? Here, let's run this back. And look, he says his eyes in dreams diverted as the siren screams eternal. Overdosage is a marketing scheme. It's just as dark as it seemed when it's a part of your team. Let's run that back.
The truth stings, tying his arm off with violent strings, his eyes and dreams, perverted as the siren screams eternal. Overdosage is a marketing scheme, it's just as dark as it seems when it's a party of team with the esteem of a savant, as smart as a genius, vanity carried the dope.
I love when he drops little, a savant. When you hear someone, a savant is someone that's extraordinary at a particular thing, right? A lot of kids that are autistic, right? They're on the spectrum. Well, normally their intelligence is on the spectrum as well. They're normally very advanced or might be considered savants when they know how to do things that other people can't. That's what you say, right? Smart as a genius. Run it back a little.
When it's a party of team with the esteem of a savant, as smart as a genius, vanity carried the dope into the heart of a fiend. Another Detroit life was meant to.
Ooh, that's so deep. Vanity carried the dope into the heart of a fiend, right? That's why that might be a reason why he's getting high.
Be more righteous in the face of this full-on opioid crisis. While the wolves pull a wool on and prey on vices, still the dogs with the hood on is way more frightening for death.
Listen to what he's saying, right? While the wolves pull the wool on, right? Pull the wool over their eyes and they prey on your vices. Still the dogs with the hoodies on is way more frightening. I don't know about that, man. Because people playing on your vices, preying on your vices, it's dangerous, man. Because addiction is just there's so many reasons why people get high and continue to get high. So I would argue that I think you can create an argument that the hood is not more frightening, right? Because you could find a way to get out of your hood, but one would argue that you can never get away from addiction, right? It's always a part of you. You might be clean for this many months, but you're never just it's never just cured, right? Let's just run it back, man. He's saying so much here.
True stings, tying his arm off with violent strings, his eyes and dreams, perverted as the siren screams eternal. Overdosage is a marketing scheme, it's just as dark as it seems when it's a party of team with the esteem of a savant, as smart as a genius, vanity carried the dope into the heart of a fiend. Another Detroit life was meant to be more righteous in the face of this full-on opioid crisis, while the wolves pull a wool on and.
I love hearing about it now. We start talking about the opioid crisis. But back when it was affecting minority neighborhoods, right? They were just talking about the crack epidemic, right? The crack streets and crack whores and crackheads. But now that it's hitting middle America, right? It's a crisis. And there's a lot of different clinics that are popping up, different ways to treat addiction because of who it's affecting. But let's be serious, man. The inner city streets have been affected. Not just with the opioid crisis, but it's been a war on drugs before the government claimed there to be a war on drugs. And one would argue that the government was also partially responsible for some of the drugs that ended up in our neighborhoods. But that's a whole other video. Let's get it right back to it.
Crisis, while the wolves pull a wool on and prey on vices, still the dogs with the hood on is way more frightening for death. You're not ready, trust me, I'm deadly as the fentanyl that killed Prince and Tom Petty. I will venture.
Yeah, listen, I mean, this is when this song was from early 2021. We've lost other actors and other people that were important to the entertainment industry. And now it's not heroin, right? It's not cocaine, it's not weed. It's fentanyl, and you have to wonder why is it killing people disproportionately? Well, it's because the people are taking it. You never quite know what you're getting, right? That's the beauty of legalizing some of these things. Not that we should be legalizing fentanyl, but it's important to understand what's going into the drug. At least you might even be able to control how people are using it if you, depending on the class of the drug and what you do with it. But no, that's a completely separate conversation.
The fentanyl that killed Prince and Tom Petty, I will venture still into the trench and bomb heavy. Every infidel will feel the strength of my belly. And so it begins as evil intends to start off slow. They graduate the needles and pins. You will have forsaken everybody, even.
So it begins as evil intends. Right? It starts off slow, and then I think he's saying like it gradually changes, right? But one thing I like about Black Thought is normally his references, right? He's not just referencing specific things. He's referencing periods in time and artists and figures that you should know. He's not doing that as much here. Sometimes I find that I have to break down. If I'm listening to Black Thought, it's like every other sentence is a play on words. And this seems to be a little bit more straightforward. We don't need a dictionary and a thesaurus to break it down, but it's still, man, he's just riding the beat and just, just lyrically an expert at writing, right? What he makes you think of when you're listening to Black Thought is part of his artistry, right?
Every infidel will feel a trip of my belly. And so it begins as evil intent to start off slow. Then graduate the needles and pins you will have forsaken that.
You start off slow, right? When you're in drugs, most people are smoking weed, right? Smoking weed, maybe pop a little pill, maybe try some shrooms, right? But you're always pushing the bar to get to that next high. And he's saying, evil starts the same way, right? We all started off slow, and then we graduate to needles and pins, right, and whatever else we do. But one would say you're full blown when you start using needles. If you're willing to put drugs into your arm, you're at a different stage of the game,
Everybody, even your friends, and see where it ends. The visuals of reason and cringe. You're watching this. He took a shot in the esophagus. He's in his zone and stone like a sarcophagus. Try stopping this. I'm on top of the metropolis. It's narcissists over narcotics anonymous. Broken promises, broken jaws, and dope whores. I separate the fact from the folklore. Let's estimate the tracks that I spoke for. Euphoria is the most that you could hope for.
Listen to what he's saying, right? When you talk about euphoria, you're talking about a euphoric event, right? He's saying that's the most you can hope for, right? Is you hope that you get high. But what's the worst, right? What's worst case scenario? It's that you're on a tainted pill and you're probably going to die, right? But I love what he's saying. You can see the wordplay, and again, it's not worth. I think we all know he's where an esophagus is, right? And he's talking about he's in the zone. He said stone like a sarcophagus. I think we all know what that is. He said, try stopping this. I'm on top of the metropolis, right? Like he's standing over a watch guard almost. I think of Batman, right? Standing above the metropolis, or Superman. He said it's narcissists over Narcotics Anonymous. Okay, broken promises. Wow. Saying a lot there, right? Is he talking about groups like Narcotics Anonymous and that there's narcissists overseeing the group? Or, who are these broken promises? Are they coming from the addicts themselves or from the group? I think, let me know if you're interpreting that a certain type of way and leave it in the comments. But he said over Narcotics Anonymous, broken promises, broken jaws, and dope whores. Damn, that's something you got to deal with. If you got an addict in the family, shout out to anybody in the minority community. I think we all got that. We all got that fucked up uncle, right? And if you don't know who it is, motherfucker, it's probably you. But we all, if you got an addict in the family, you know what to expect, right? They're borrowing money. They're trying to borrow off their name. You can't leave anything worth anything laying around. Never leave your purse open, right? Anything little with value they could take. Broken jaws or just scuffs and scrapes. They get into stuff because of the environments that they put them in. And then whores, right? At some point, you're going to have either lose the people in your corner or you're going to fuck around, right? And because of the people in your life, you're dealing with crackhead whores, dudes that are out here selling, right? People lying and cheating to get what they want. So one would argue that it's not just you deciding to use drugs because you want to take yourself mentally to a better place. Look at what you're doing and what you're bringing into the world around you, around the people you love, right? And drugs, I'm a fan of smoking the green, right? I'll get down and I'll smoke some weed, but I'll never do anything else. And I think that's a good position to take. I'm not going to, tell you, pick your poison, but you got to be careful fucking around with drugs like fentanyl or lean or anytime you're messing with like codeine and things like that. Like, these are deadly. And I know a lot of people argue and they say, it's deadly, but look at all these other pills the government's putting out there. There's limits to that shit too. What is it? Is it Dave Chappelle or Cat Williams? He says, you could die with shit like Tylenol if you take it in the wrong dosage, right? They might take it and fuck around and be your last headache, right? So let's get right back to it.
I go slow for the greats and took the best out. A poker face from me estates, I had to stress out. But no complaints from me erase, that had to check out. Hey yo, I got a brand new bag for you to test out, yo. This shit crazy.
Yo. And again, you gotta love with Black Thought. It's not exactly what he says, it's how he said it, right? It's something that needed to be said. There's purpose to what he's doing. It's just sick with it. And listen to what he's saying, right? He said, I ghost wrote for the greats, right? If you're a ghostwriter, you're writing for other people that are putting their work out to the world. And you're like, yo, that's sick, not even knowing that Black Thought came up with that, right? And he said, yo, I wrote for some of the greats, but took the best out. So what did he take out? Either he's talking about taking out some for him and having the best verses because he saved the best for himself, or he's saying, I took the best out, almost as if I took the best out, like maybe I'm leaving my name out. I took the best thing out. But he's also talking about I ghost wrote for the greats and took the best out. Like he might have taken them out of the game, right? Think about if somebody, I'm not saying this happened, but saying he wrote the Ether verse, right, for Jay-Z. One would say you took one of the greats out with that verse, with that whole track, right? So I love what he's saying there. And again, it's the play on words. Black Thought might be saying something simple, but it's never that simple. Like, listen to what the very next line. He says, a poker face from the estates I had to stress out. Like, you can interpret that so many different ways, but you think of a poker face not showing your true emotion, right? You talk about your estate. That's normally referred to as your home or all of your valuable possessions, where you live and breathe, right? That's your estate. So it's not, again, what he's saying, but the complex meaning behind it. This is one of the greats, and we're going to continue to check out his work. Now, that altar call, right? If you're a fan, not just of good music, not just of Black Thought, but bringing something positive to the culture, bringing something positive to the community, and also the intellectual breakdown of the lyrics so we can understand the context and what they truly meant when they were writing this. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel.